thoughts about the other two videos. I've had so many people, which I'll talk about in this video, let me know that they also connected with Prince, and they also had no idea why he would come to them. Right? Why? When we did not know him in person. And so I found that it really helped people feel not so crazy about it. So I'll talk a little bit about that here. So today I'm going to tell you the Michael Dean story. Okay? So I wish I could do like that harp music that takes you back, like go back in the past. I was at an event or a meeting in Utah, and I was looking out a window of a building, and I hear Prince, and he does this sometimes, just kind of like sends a thought across. And the thought was, go to Paisley Park and bring me through there. And I was like, well, okay. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know anybody at Paisley Park. I've never been there. I don't know. Okay, I hear you, right? So I think it probably had to be a few months later when I said to Prince, look, here's the deal. If you wish me to go to Paisley Park and bring you through, you are going to have to start that process, because I don't even know where to start. I don't know who to connect with. I don't know. Help. And that's the cool thing about him and really all the other divine beings. All you have to do is ask, and they give you help. So I think it was probably like 3 days later, I was in bed, and I was in that like little half sleep kind of thing. And this is my remembrance of it, okay? But in my mind's eye, I saw like a fishing line drop down, had like a little hook on the bottom. Fishing line dropped down in front of me, and on the edge of the hook was a little piece of paper. So in my mind's eye, I took the paper off and I looked at it, and it said, Michael Dean. And so I said to Prince, I don't know who that is. And he said, because this is what he says to me all the time, why don't you look it up? Okay then. So I got up, went downstairs, got some coffee, and Googled Michael Dean. Well, come to find out, I've never known of him, never heard of him. He runs a very, very popular podcast called Prince Podcast, and has for many, many years. And so I said to Prince, what am I supposed to do? Like, hi person, dead Prince gave me your name, and can you talk with me about maybe going to Paisley Park? Prince was like, yeah, pretty much. And it took me 3 days to figure out, like, okay, it's okay if you think I'm insane. It's okay, like, I'm just going to say it. And that's pretty much what I said. I messaged him on Facebook, and I said, hi, you don't know me, but I talked with Prince on the other side, and he gave me your name as maybe someone who can help me figure out how to get to Paisley Park and bring him through there. Would you be willing to have a conversation about it? Sent it off. Nothing. And I thought, okay, well, my name's Mud. All right then. And it really was about 4 or 5 days. And I thought, well, okay. So I said to Prince, you got to give me another name, because that one didn't work. And he said to me, well, why don't you just message him again and just say, like, thanks for considering this odd request. Right. So pretty much I did. I know it's weird. Thank you for, like, even looking at it. And he responds back. And he said, how did my name get into the mix? I don't know. Prince gave it to me. I don't know. So I explained to him how that all happened. And he was kind of, you know, as people are, like muggles, right, who aren't into the world of the metaphysical and the woo. And he was kind of like, this is odd. And I said, I know. And he's like, I don't know anybody at Paisley Park. And I said, okay, that's fine. I just thought you might have a connection that I could touch base with. Like, I didn't want him to help me get there. I just wanted, like, did you know the name of anybody? So he said to me, after we talked a couple of times, he's like, would you like to be on a podcast? And I about died. Because, as I talked about in the last time, taking this work out into the world is challenging. Into the Prince world, even more so. And if you are or have been in the Prince world, you know his fans are fiercely protective and argumentative and skeptical of everything. But I knew that this was something I needed to move forward with. So I said, okay. So we ended up scheduling it for like, a month going forward, because he does these in advance. And he couldn't have been nicer. He could not have been nicer. And I'll link the podcast below, but I didn't know he had co-hosts, and he had someone named Kanisa, who I've gotten to know, on there. And I'm like, oh my God, he's brought people in to ambush me, which is not his style at all. So he let me kind of have free reign, where I told like different stories, how it came about. And, I told a story of how when I first started doing the Prince work with people, remember I talked about the up-leveling in 10 sessions last time. I brought pretzels into my office in between sessions, and I heard Prince say, "No eating in my space." And I was like, these are just pretzels. No eating in my space. Like, I couldn't go out of the room without my shawl on. This is the shawl that I bought that I use when I do the readings. And it's kind of, just kind of like a little ritual sort of thing. And he was like, don't wear that outside the office. So I told those stories. I told the story about the cleaning the clutter and what Prince said to my husband, and just a bunch of other stuff. And again, Michael Dean, Kanisa, and I don't remember the other guy's name. Big boy, I don't have Big Daddy, I don't remember his name. He was pretty quiet. Could not have been nicer. Really, really. Treated me with respect. Did not make fun of me. They did giggle a little bit about Prince telling my husband, like, I've known her longer. But it was a beautiful experience, and I can tell you that my little legs were shaking under the table. I was terrified of standing up and standing out. So I checked back the comments. He posted it on the Prince podcast page, and he posted it on Facebook and whatever. And so I started reading some of the comments, and they were pretty, like, nice, and people were like, well, she sounds sincere, and da-da-da-da-da. And then the men rolled in. Men, stop being so skeptical of things you do not know. Oh my God, they were nasty. They can be nasty. I think it's one thing, certainly, to be skeptical. I don't think you have to be nasty, but my husband keeps telling me that not everyone's like me. Why can't you all be like me? Then we could all talk telepathically. Anyway, so I stopped reading the comments. I was responding to them in a way that I could. And the point that I made on Michael's show was that this is my experience of it. It doesn't have to be anybody else's. Right? You can believe or not believe. You can think I'm crazy or not crazy. It doesn't matter. This is my experience, and I'm owning this experience. Okay. And so that's kind of what I wanted people to take from it. Like, you might not believe it, but this is what's true for me. And so I started getting messages from people saying, I talked to Prince too. I thought I was going crazy. And out of nowhere, but not really, this beautiful community of people showed up who trusted me and trusted Prince and opened up about their connection with him. And Michael said the same thing, and Kanisa said the same thing too, that people, like, they didn't want to come out and say anything publicly because of those skeptical men. But that behind the scenes, there was a lot of chatter about, and I had the beautiful opportunity to meet Michael when I went to Paisley Park for the celebration this past year in April of 2018, which is another video entirely. But I came to understand this, about that entire experience. And let me give you the larger thing about this, is that when you ask Spirit, Prince, whomever, for help, they can see possibilities that you might not be able to. So what Prince invited me into was a possibility to work with others who needed to feel that trust, who needed to understand the trusting their own inner knowing. And for somebody to stand up and say, I talked to this very famous dead person, and own that, gave others an opportunity to do that. Maybe not in public, maybe just to me, maybe just to Prince, but to own that and understand that Prince is everywhere. He really is. And so many people showed up in my world to help, work with me, to learn how to trust themselves more. And that was the bigger picture. That was what Prince was trying to kind of help me understand, is that using his energy to bring in people who were ready to trust themselves more, and to use him and his energy as a conduit for that, was really a beautiful thing. And it gave people that I talked to so much comfort that he was still around, that they were hearing him, even if it wasn't in exactly the way that I hear him or that I brought his work out into the world, that they were not crazy, that they weren't. And so Michael Dean was lovely, lovely. And I thank him from the very bottom of my heart. I'm getting all teary about it. I thank him from the bottom of my heart for being willing to just listen and to hold space for it. I don't know that he believes it. I think a lot of people need to have a direct experience of it to believe it for themselves, and that's cool. So I don't know that he truly believes it, but he believed to the extent that he was willing to put me on the show, and he didn't make fun of me, and he didn't, he was just a really nice person about it. And so thank you, Prince, for that connection. And I still have to laugh about that, because, and then here's the other piece, okay? When you get guidance from Spirit, Prince, whomever, you have to take that action. I talk about that all the time. But if I had just said to Prince, I don't know who Michael Dean is, I'm not even going to connect with him because I don't know who he is, he's going to think I'm insane, blah, 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 then that whole experience would have gone by the wayside. If it was a part of my growth and their growth and whatever, then it would have come back around. But because I trust Prince implicitly, I took action on it. And I was willing to put myself out there as a dope, crazy person, whatever, because I trusted Prince guiding me in that way. So if you receive guidance from spirits or whomever, take action, because you have no idea. Truly, our little brains cannot fathom what's available in that moment. Right? So it looks to us like, talk to this guy and he's going to help you get to Paisley Park. When really it was about broadcast this frequency so that others can understand it and see you as someone who can hold that energy, and that they're safe in that energy. That they can come to me and say, yes, I talked to Prince, or yes, or whatever. Right? That was the bigger picture that I didn't see until it happened. So I will, like I said, put the podcast link below. And I heard from Kanisa a while ago, and I met her at Paisley Park also, that's one of the most popular episodes on that podcast, and that they still hear from people. And Michael Dean told me the same thing. He told me that he heard from so many people saying, like, oh my God, thank you for putting her on. Yeah, we talked to Prince too. And so I have only Prince to thank for that beautiful experience. I have a ton of those experiences, but that's the one I think that really rings true. And that really, for me, tells me, I don't care what anybody else thinks, that was a connection. There's no way I could have known who Michael Dean was. Prince knew. Prince knew him in physical life too. Okay, so that's part 3 of our story, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.